Yo, what's going on, guys? Your boy Glyzzi back here with another video, and I got a good one today. I'm gonna be helping all you small-handed folk, maybe you're younger, second, third, fourth grade, maybe you just got some small hands in your gene pool. It doesn't matter, and you wanna play claw? You can still do it. You just gotta trust me. You could do it. Now you run through some struggles that, like us, I got some big hands, some big boy hands. I don't have those problems, but I know you guys do, and I got tips that'll help you do it. Not one, not two, three, plus a bonus tip. So that's 4. I got 4 tips that are going to make this transition so much easier and have you performing just as everyone with big hands. So small hands are not a limiting factor. You just got to believe me. With that being said, if you do enjoy the video, remember to leave a like down below and subscribe for more content. If you want to come chill with your boy, maybe play some games 1v1 me, I'm going to be live on twitch.tv/Glyzzi. I stream on there from time to time to come hang out with you guys. With that being said, let's learn how to use these small hands. Alright guys, so you see we got the hand cam out in the video today. I'm doing this because it just makes sense to me, right? If I'm explaining a tip, I want you guys to be able to see it. So like when I'm doing something, there's no guesswork. It's straightforward, right? Like it makes sense to you, and there's like it's not like I'm hiding anything. Like I'm just showing you the truth and what you need to be able to do. Because like I said, I know switching to claw can be hard, especially if you have smaller hands. So I've been experimenting this past week, and I've came up with some really good tips I'm about to share with you today for that specifically. And even if you don't have smaller hands, go ahead and try these tips out. You might like them, they might help you. But starting off with the first tip, right, and that's going to come in with the weapons, pickaxe, and maybe even with your builds if you want. But the main one is shooting with R1 and ADSing with L1, right? So like, see, I ADS with L1 and I shoot with R1. Instead of the triggers like it used to be, those now swap my weapons. And I've actually really been enjoying this, even though I didn't have a problem before pressing RT and aiming and jumping because I do have bigger hands. I wanted to try this out for you guys, and it's actually super beneficial. And the reason for that is a lot of people's biggest struggle when switching to claw is pressing X and RT at the same time, like being able to hold it down, right, and jump and aim like consistently. They have to like jump and then move to it and like move their finger, and this eliminates that problem completely as your finger sits right on R1, so you don't have to stretch as far. Because if you look at the stretch between your fingers, it goes from there, and then when it's on R1, it's right here. They're almost next to each other, so it's a way more natural position. So this will really improve your aim, as you could sit here, jump shot, and with the pump too, going for Tifus and stuff like that. It just makes more sense, especially if you're struggling with pressing that button, because you don't need to be in a hurry to jump and press RT at the same time to switch your weapons. And alongside shooting and firing your weapons, what you can do is put your edit on it too. This is something I used to do, so I'd select with R1 instead of RT, so it gave me more control over it. But like I said, I don't have a problem with that, so like, I could just use RT. But like I said, if that's also a struggle for you, I would go ahead and put R1 as your select edit as well. So that's the first tip, guys. Flop those around. It's super huge, and trust me, it may take a week or like a couple. It only took me 2 days to get used to, so it won't even take a week to get used to that one, and it'll drastically improve how comfortable you feel while holding the controller, and also your aim amongst that. Alright guys, so after that first tip, I have another one for you, and this one's kind of an alternative to the first tip. If you're not a fan of that first one, or it's still not working for you, I would highly suggest playing a different form of claw. And the one I recommend is playing a thing called spider claw. That's kind of the name that's been thrown around, but it's not really a true thing. And all you're going to do is take your ring finger that's normally down here on the bottom of the controller and pull it up and put it on RT, so your middle finger sits on R1. As you see, so I got ring finger RT, middle finger R1, and then your index is always sitting down here on the claw. And this is super good, especially if you have smaller hands and whatnot, because it allows everything to stay much closer together, and you don't have those huge stretches and fingers. And this will reduce a lot of pain when playing, because like I said, you are holding the controller different, so it's going to feel uncomfortable and weird. But it covers the same issues that the first one had, of like not being able to, like stretch all the way and press different buttons. As you can see, I've never done this before and I'm already like not too bad at it. You pick it up pretty quick. It's just a little different way of holding the controller, and it eliminates the same problems as the first one, especially with the charged shotgun being in the game. Using this or the other one super good because you could hold your charge and be able to jump and aim right at the same time, whereas a lot of the times you were flying back around. So again, if you're not a fan of the first one, I would highly suggest trying to play like this. It may be more comfortable for you, it may not be. Just go ahead and give it a try, but it'll definitely help if you're struggling or have smaller hands. Alright guys, so the third tip we got going on here is, again, more about something you would put on your controller, and what that's going to be is a control freak. If you're struggling with claw, or if you have smaller hands and you're using one of these, you gotta get rid of it. You gotta. And as you notice, maybe if you watch my other videos where you notice, this is the first hand cam I think I've done without a control freak, because ever since day one, I've played with one on, except for this last week, and I took it off for the purpose of this video, because I had lots of questions asking me about, right, like, should I play with a control freak? Do I need a control freak? Does it help me? I have small hands. I don't like my control freak. Do you know why? And I was like, not really thinking much about it. I thought it would always help you. But when I really started looking at it, I noticed that it's probably hurting more of you guys than it's helping. Because unless you have bigger hands like I do, like, it's gonna make everything difficult. Because if we look at the first two tips, what we're trying to accomplish is shortening the distance between our fingers and hands to make everything a little more comfortable and natural. And by adding this control freak, if we look at it, it causes our thumb to sit up higher, separating that distance even further between all of our fingers. As you look, it causes a bigger gap right here, as to if I were to take it off, the gap's a lot smaller and making everything more compact and comfortable, which isn't a big deal for me, like I said, because I got big hands, but this is for you guys who are struggling with small hands. And I took it off and tested it out, and yeah, it felt weird the first day or two, but as soon as I took it off, like now, as you can see, like after a day, I'm able to literally do anything I was able to do before, if not even better. I low-key feel like I have more control over my character this way. So if you're struggling, or again, if you have smaller hands and you have a control freak, get rid of it, and I don't advise buying one if that's you. Now, I do think it's a great product. I'm not bashing Control Freak or anything, because like I said, I've always used one throughout my entire claw journey, but after looking at it and taking it off, it's really not worth it in the long run. Not worth it. So go ahead and just rip that thing off. And again, it'll only take you a couple days to get used to. It may feel weird at first, the same thing as the first two tips, but within 2 days, you'll have it down packed, I promise. Alright guys, if you made it this far, it's time for a little bonus tip, and it's nothing crazy. It's real simple. All I want you to do is find yourself a little claw friend to switch with, so you're not all alone in this journey, and you have like someone to bounce ideas off of and practice with and get better. Because like I said, if you're struggling, it really can be demotivating to learn claw or even play the game, right? But if you get yourself a friend who's also learning and like trying to learn with you, it makes the whole process a lot more fun, because you guys can bounce ideas off of each other, right? Trying to figure out like who's good at what and how they got good at that, because maybe you're good at different things. And then instead of like playing with your friends and getting destroyed, right? A lot of the times that's what happens when you switch to claw, and it's demotivating, especially if you're struggling. But if you get someone else to switch with you, you guys will both be in that same boat of a little struggle at the beginning, and you'll be able to help each other instead of like both, you know, it's just easier to grind when you have someone to talk to and help with and prepare with, rather than yourself. So if you're stuck or in a little group, or you're looking to switch the claw and you got small hands, go ahead and get one of your friends to switch with you, and that'll definitely make the process a lot more smooth and more fun. 100%. Alright guys, that's gonna do it for the video today. And like I said, just because you got smaller hands doesn't mean you can't play claw. It is totally possible. You just gotta maybe try some different techniques, work around the bush a little bit. But again, it's totally possible. Just follow these tips. It'll make your transition, make it feel so much smoother and more natural. With that being said, if you do have any other videos you want to see, just go ahead and drop a comment down below. I promise I'll get back to you, try to push a video out with that. With that being said, as always, I hope you guys enjoyed. Peace.